Hi everyone, I hope that you are ready to play card Yahtzee today. At confession first, this is recorded and will be scheduled to show at 2 o'clock on Facebook, and if I can figure it out, we'll have it show at YouTube at the same time. I'm already struggling. I wanted to show my graphic to kick it off, but once I shared my graphic on my desktop, I couldn't get back to anything else. So I had to bail on that. I'll figure it out later. Anyway, if you remember last week when we rolled the dice, we ended up with a recipe that called for a monochromatic card using the neutrals color family. The theme was friendship. I'm getting us out a picture here. One of our techniques was blending and die cuts. So, full confession, I went to Pinterest. I went to other demonstrators to see what they had to offer, and I settled on a card by Melinda Hart. I'd actually already found this set of cards, because they fit with the theme I'm doing next week. So next week I have a fundraising class for our for Foundation Fighting Blindness using our Christ-Centered Creations platform. And we are using the Angels of Peace stamp set in that class. This was a class that was introduced by Rhonda Wade and Julie Salva in their Creating for Christ group last week. So we're going to use at least some of those cards in the class next week, but I had this other one that popped up, and I knew that I had to do it as well. So when I put together my card, I used the Angels of Peace as well as the For Unto Us. All right, so before I jump into there, let me show you a couple other things. So we're going to roll the dice at the end and come up with our card recipe for next week. In the comments of this video, or text me or email me, whatever you can do, show me the cards that you created with this recipe. I want to show them. I want to spotlight you. I want to send you prizes. So do that. But I wanted to talk about these color families, all right, and where you can find some of the supplies that I'm using today. So the color families are in the main catalog. They start on page 122, and this is the neutrals family. And I'm pointing this out because a few years ago, the neutrals family changed a little bit, and you may not, what I'm about to show you, you might question whether or not that's really a neutral, because they added Knight of Navy, Mossy Meadow, and Mary Merlot to the neutrals. At least that's the way I remember it. I remember that the neutrals family before looked something like that. All right. So I'm going to work with Knight of Navy today in my monochromatic card. All right. So that's the monochromatic part. Now, the blending. Gosh, at first I went to sponges and blending brushes and looked for things like that. And I had a couple of ideas for it, but I ultimately settled on the stamping blends. Okay, these are our alcohol-based markers, and we blend with them. All right, remember, these dies are a jumping off point, and they are open to lots of interpretation. Okay, so the blends, now see, they changed that in this catalog too. The blends are sold in combo packs of light and dark, and they appear in the last row under each of the color families. So today I'm going to be working with Knight of Navy blends. They're here. I've got a Smoky Slate blend. That's here. I've got a Crumb Cake blend. Okay, that's here. I have a color lifter. I have bronze and ivory, and they are over here. So the color lifter is here. It's sold as a single, and then bronze and ivory are sold together as a combo. So that's on page 123. All right. Then I am going to use a couple of other things that I want to point out. So I'm going to use a little bit of heat embossing. Okay, so here is the heat tool that I'm going to use. That's on page 128. I'm going to use the clear embossing powder. So that comes in the Basics collection here with black and white. And I'm going to use a Versamark ink. Okay, so that's over here on page 129, Versamark ink. Versamark ink is a clear ink. It's very sticky and it is slow to dry. That is where that is coming from. Then I'm going to use, where are my gems? Okay, so in the gems, I'm going to use the Holiday Rhinestones. They're on page 142. They are some of my very favorite gems. And then the only other thing that I think I didn't show you was okay, so I'm using Night of Navy ink as well. I did use Memento Black. Oh gosh, I'm just totally flipping pages now. Memento Black is over there with the Versamark ink. So on page, here's Memento here in the center. And that is our black ink pad. I'm just looking around. Oh, the die cutting that we're using, I am using the rectangle shaped dies, stitched rectangles. So down here at the bottom of page 165. All right, so that's everything I think that I'm using for my card other than the standard blocks, and I'm using a chamois to clean my stamps. All right, so that's the basics there, and then my two stamp sets are here. For Unto Us was introduced last year in the holiday or the mini catalog. I absolutely love this stamp and found that I haven't used it enough this year. So that's about to change. And then here is the Angels of Peace stamp set so it's on page 42. For Unto Us is on page 41 of the mini catalog. I am using a Stamparatus. I forgot about that, and that is a big piece of what we're doing today. So let me find it. Stamparatus is on page 144. So it is here. So this is our stamp positioning tool, and it has a huge role in today's project. And once again, I am casing Melinda Hart. At least I'm pretty sure that's her name. I keep getting her confused with that old TV show, Heart to Heart. What was her name? Was it Jennifer? I don't know. Melinda is what I've tagged her. Now, I do have my grid paper upside down because I find that this floral image is in my way sometimes. So this way I've got a good surface down here. All right, so let me show you the pieces I've already done, and then we're going to put something together, and I'm going to show you how I got where I did. All right, so starting with I've got a Knot of Navy card base, and I have a basic white card base. All right, and then I have a stitched rectangle that I cut in Night of Navy and stamped in Night of Navy. Okay, so where does that go? That could go here, or it could go here. Like them both. There's a reason I did so many. Okay, so that's two options. Then I also have this stamped in Night of Navy on white. So that could go here, or that could go here, right? I know. Then, okay, I'm going to set these aside for a second and show you that I have colored a couple of the angels. So I stamped these in Memento Black, and then I used my Stampin' Blends to color them. Oh my gosh, I forgot Wink of Stella. How did I forget that? Of course I used Wink of Stella. Wink of Stella on her wings. Okay, and I'm going to show you, how to color this just for the sake of speed. I jumped ahead just a little bit. Okay, so this one I colored with, I thought initially, this is the one I did first. I thought initially that I didn't want one as dark as Night of Navy. So I used the dark balmy, no, take that back. I used light Night of Navy as my darker blue, and then I used dark balmy blue as my lighter blue to blend this in. Okay, that's really pretty. But then I thought, oh, I just need to do Night of Navy and see that as well. So this one is light and dark Night of Navy. I used some smoky slate in her wing and the color lifter to move that around. So we're going to show that. Her hair is bronze, her skin is ivory, and the little bird dove is crumb cake. All right, so I think the most striking feature is this. How on earth did I get all of those stamped? Because two factors here. One is that these are cling stamps, which reminds me, cling stamps from the annual catalog are on sale tomorrow, 15% off. You could order those, you could order a starter kit tomorrow and get all of your cling stamps from the annual catalog on sale. I have some posting that I will do with some graphics to share that with you, but this is the type of stamp that is on sale tomorrow, a cling stamp. So what I did was arrange all of these stamps on my Stamparatus and then stamped it down to show where that was going to line up. I got to get my dice out of the way here. That goes up there. Okay. Now, so for this first one, then I put my die cut white. I die cut it first, okay? And I put it down here. I inked this up in Night of Navy, and I stamped it over, and I got this. For the Night of Navy, I wanted to catch the "Oh Come Let Us Adore Him," just as a an aside, so I put it like so. Right, so I kind of lined up this bottom right corner. And then that got me all of this. Now, I love this look, but it might fade into the blue just a little bit. So I could stamp it in black and get it a little more pronounced. Or I could stamp it in Versamark ink and add some clear embossing and change it up just a little bit. Now I've lost my maybe. Some of you might have noticed some changes to my website, michellesalcho.com. I am learning a little bit more about technology every week, and you may be getting blog posts from me now. Be sure, these are coming from hello@michellesalcho.com. So check your spam, check your junk folders if you're not seeing emails from me, because I'm sending at least one a week right now. So you should have some emails. My schedule, my blog, all of those things are being incorporated into that michellesalcho.com. So please check that out. And you can actually subscribe to the blog there. Okay, so let's, first I'm going to do this in just Versamark and the clear stamping powder. And I think, I don't know, it's hard to decide where I want to. All right, so this is actually, I'm going to have to cut this down to go onto a card. So I'm just going to put it there. Then I'm going to ink this up in Versamark, add some clear powder. Now, if you have what we used to sell was called the Embossing Buddy, you can use some cornstarch to prevent the static of the embossing powder from sticking, causing the powder to stick to more than you want it to. I don't know that I said that quite right, but in any event, so I am lined up basically with this corner here. So should I need to stamp down again, that's what I would line up with. Now, depending on how your sayings are placed, it's kind of going to determine where you place your angel. And I can see that I did not get this stamped down real well. And I need to get a good stamp so that my embossing powder will stick really well. Okay, so that looks better. Now I've got just a plain old coffee filter here. And I'm going to set this like so. But I feel like this is really dangerous in my placement here. I'm so bummed that I can't do this live today and get all of your reactions. But this doctor's appointment, they've already had to postpone on me once before. Okay, what's the coffee filter for, you ask? It's to catch this excess. Okay. All right, and I can see that just down here in this corner. And that could be that I didn't get it stamped well. Okay, no. Okay, so that is that one. The coffee filter lets me pour this back into my little jar. All right, so that is one. We're going to melt that in a second. Before we do, we have a second piece, and we're going to do something a little different. And I'm going to scoot it over just so that we can tell the difference. And we're going to ink this up first in Versamark. And then with Night of Navy. Now, the reason to do this will let me get maybe a more intense color of the navy. The Versamark is going to help it stay wet longer. Because if I just did this in Night of Navy, I would have to work really fast in order to get my powder down. So I'm still going to use the clear powder. And I need some more over here. And all right, now I think I'm ready to add the powder. So same thing here, these steps. I haven't done this in a long time. And I will confess that it does not look as wet as I had hoped it would. I may have taken too much time adding that navy ink. But you never know unless you try it. Wow, I think that's just perfect. Okay, so right now, the big difference in looking at them is where they're positioned. So the one in my right hand is Versamark only, and then the one that says, "Oh, come let us adore him," is also got the navy ink. So we'll distinguish that when we get them melted, which is what we're going to do next. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and set this aside because I think that I'm mostly finished with that. All right, let's see if we can get this ink to melt. And if nothing else, you'll have a chance to see whether or not that really makes a difference. And this is going to melt clear, so it's going to leave a little shine on the navy. And then I think that this one is going to be a little more obvious. It's going to have a darker at least that's what I'm expecting. Okay, now let's grab the other one. Okay, so let's see if we can tell any difference. Okay, so this one is Versamark and clear embossing powder. And this one is Versamark navy ink and clear embossing powder. And I can't really tell a difference. I might actually like now if we wanted to, all right, so let's show this because otherwise I'm not going to be able to explain it. Because there is another option here, and you would need to see the difference. Okay. So let's get this out. I think that I'm going to run out of time. We're already at 23 minutes, and I haven't even done the angel yet. All right, let's get this cleaned off. So you've seen the navy ink on white cardstock. What if we wanted that navy ink to be clear embossed? How would we do that? It would be too fast. We could not get, I could not get a clean image just stamping straight in navy and clear embossing it. So I would do what I did a second ago, and I would ink it first in the Versamark, And then with the navy, wouldn't it be great if I already had this positioned? And I'm going to go kind of fast. Close that up. And if the navy didn't show, you really wouldn't be able to use this because it'd be kind of an ombre looking. Okay. So now hopefully this is still wet enough that we can add the clear embossing powder. I'm counting on that Versamark to be keeping that wet enough. I feel like I need about 3 or 4 hands right now. Embossing powder lasts a long, long time. It's not as easy to see if I got that all covered. Okay, now we're going to melt that and see what we have. Okay. And that is how you do heat embossing in color when you don't have that color embossing powder. So here are the 2 navies, and hopefully you can see how shiny that is. I'll take photos and post them so that you can see them more clearly. All right, so now let's look at this angel and how do we stamp her and color her in some different ways. So first I'm going to get out, clean up my space a little bit. I have a mess. So I'm going to stamp her in Memento Black. Sticky. Okay, so I've stamped her in Memento Black, and then the next thing is to color her. Now, with large images like her dress, coloring with the stamping blends is kind of tricky because you need to move fast. Oh my gosh, okay. Okay. All right, take care. Okay, so colored her, stamped her. Now how do we color her? And I'm going to go back with the navy because I really liked the navy the best. And I'm just going to do a little bit to give you an idea so that we can play with the cards a little bit and how they come together. So I'm following the lines that the artist has already provided for me to tell me what's dark. And I'm just taking the Night of Navy dark blend and I'm just coming around some of them. These blend when they're wet and they're alcohol, so they dry quickly. And I showed you before that if I had both of those in my hand, I could move more quickly in my coloring because I would have already had that light navy uncapped and ready to go. The bigger blending needs to happen down here on these lines in the center. So yep, I'm moving quickly and I'm not being neat in the least. But this is all about layering the color, and to get the blending without the streaky lines, you need multiple layers of color. And as you layer colors on, layers of color on, you'll see what happens is this bleeds through, which is why you don't use an alcohol colored marker as on your card base or on something that the back would be visible, because it's not pretty. And I don't necessarily want this to be really dark, but I don't want it to be streaky either. So the most layers are going to occur with those artist lines, the lines that the stamp has. And I can always come back and layer on more color. So I'm just going to do her dress and show you how I did her wing, and then we'll take a look at how these pieces might work together. And yes, this bothers my elbow. That tendonitis. But you can you see how that looks pretty streaky right now? Now, part of that is it's going to take, a little bit of time to dry. But the more layers I add, the more that streakiness goes away and they blend together. So let that dry a little bit. And I could come back with the brush end if I want to cover more areas quickly. The brush end would let me do that. Just be careful to tilt your blend on its side. And I've got a really dark dress at this point, right? And you can see how much darker this part is than the front. So you may still want to play with that. So how did I do the wings so that they had a little color, but they weren't gray? So I just did the lines with the smoky slate, and then I came back with my color lifter. This is a pretty new color lifter. So it's got a lot of fluid in it, and I'm just blending out that gray. I am being careful not to go near the edges of her dress. Oh, that's a mistake. Do this with the blunt end, and then okay. Now that I've got that done, I want to add a little bit more to her dress. To even out that blue. And then I can come back with the dark navy and do more along the artist lines to give more contrast. Okay, that's that. So let's set her aside and let's look at some of these stamped pieces and how they might come together on a card and how we like them. And then before I even put that all together, I think that we will draw for next week. All right, so there is one layer with, and I've lost my angels. Oh, here they are. Okay. So we could put her there. Okay, I like that. Now, I did not try to cut in there, and I don't think I would. But we can move her around however we want, whatever we want to spotlight. So here she is on the white background. Here she is on the navy. And this is all going to be your personal preference. And you might like the lighter of the angels, which is very pretty that way. Then here, with the white and an angel, I really like that. Yeah, I think that's my first card. I really, really like that. And it's funny, I watch it in the screen, not on my table. I get a much better view of how it would really look, although I'm messing the camera all up doing it that way. Okay. I don't like that so much. And I thought I had gotten... Okay. Now, unfortunately, this has to be cut down in order to be used as a card front. It's too big. But I think that I might like, okay, let's do this. The embossed. Because I feel like there's not enough contrast on this one. But maybe like this. Okay, so I feel like those are my cards. Although, do we like... See, I still think it's not quite enough contrast on this blue on blue. But might like it like that. But I do think this is my favorite. Let me know what you think and what combinations you'd like to see. And then once this is put together, I would put the white layer on dimensionals. I would put the angel on dimensionals, and then I would add some of the holiday rhinestones in this blue color. Okay, so that's our Yahtzee from last week. Let's roll the dice and see what we're doing next week. Now remember, I want to give prizes to those of you that play along. So please comment, play along, share the video. I think that this is lots of fun. Yahtzee is one of my absolute favorite games. Okay. Oh, I did mention I didn't quite get the friendship option on that one. Okay, so this looks a little bit like last week's, doesn't it? All right, so embossing, add DSP foil using the Subtles family. That is probably the hardest family for me to use. Punches and a masculine card. Okay, so a masculine card using embossing, punching, DSP, and the Subtle family. Gonna have my work cut out for me there. Let me know what you think of this. I need to take a picture of it so that I can be sure and post it in our challenge. All right, so that is for next time. I hope that you like this. Please let me know that you do. And thank you for tuning in. This was rather long, but I think I showed you a lot of embossing there, which was not exactly the whole theme, but it helped us show how this monochromatic might work. All right, everybody, thank you again so much. Don't forget, if you order, so if you take advantage of that stamp sale tomorrow, that will likely qualify you for the free card kit with, darn it, I can't find my... So there's card class tomorrow. The virtual card class is tomorrow and has an ordering special, meaning that if you place an order, you're going to receive the products, the prepped cardstock, so that you can make those projects too. So if you order on the sale tomorrow, then you would, gosh, you'd have a hard time not getting the ordering special to receive that class kit. So it is a win, win, win all the way around. C3 with the Angels of Peace, that class is next week. It will also be, it'll be a virtual class. I think there will be some people that are going to come over and do that in place, and that's a fundraiser for the Foundation Fighting Blindness. I can't talk anymore. All right, everybody, have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.